Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex, back with my monthly video on the best games coming to retail. This is the month of March 2022. And while I do think this is a fairly complete list of the games coming to retail, I'm also going to be at Gamma this week, and I guarantee you I'm going to learn about one game coming to retail here at the show that is not included on the list, and I'm going to be like, son of a nutcracker! How did I miss that? Oh, I'm so angry right now. I missed it. But it's still a fairly complete list. I've had a few people ask me, like, how do I organize this list? And it's just done by publisher alphabetical order. Alphabetical order on the name of the publisher. So it's not like the first ones I say are the ones I'm most excited about or anything like that. Nope, just alphabetical order. So sorry, Z-Man Games, you're always going to be last. You will always be last, Z-Man. These are the best games coming to retail in March 2022. Board and Dice is releasing Founders of Teotihuacan, and I guarantee I pronounced that wrong, but I did my best, okay? Founders of Teotihuacan. This is a game that's in the same world as a game that came out a few years ago, Teotihuacan City of Gods, but it's not a sequel, it's not a expansion, it's not anything like that. It's a standalone game in the same world. So, you know, you think of like Azul and then there's Azul Stained Glass. Well, they don't really have anything to do with each other except for similar themes. That's the same case here. Founders of Teotihuacan is a medium weight game that includes action points, it includes tile placement, it includes worker placement, and in the game you are trying to establish yourself as one of the great founders. You're trying to build up the city, and you know, I think it looks pretty fun, and you know, it's that medium weight which I really like. So you are competing against your friends to create the best design of the city of Teotihuacan, which, if you don't know, is one of the great cities of Mesoamerica. So that is Board and Dice is releasing that, and it's supposed to come out at the end of March, the very end of March, but because of all logistic stuff, it might get pushed into the early April, but hopefully it'll be the end of March. That's what they're expecting. Capstone Games is releasing Clinic to retail, and this is a game where you are treating patients for profit to build the city's most lucrative clinic. You know, so you can play how our healthcare system is flawed here in America. Hey, we want to treat patients, but we want to make money doing it. We don't care if you're healed if we don't make money. So, do you want to be frustrated by America's healthcare system? Then play Clinic. You know, I had reconstructive knee surgery during the pandemic, so it feels very fresh right now. Feels very fresh. They prescribed me OxyContin. That's fun. I didn't even get to take it. I had to sell it to pay for the surgery. So Clinic, there is different extensions available for the base game, and each extension offers unique and challenging modules to incorporate into your game of Clinic. It also introduces a campaign book, which it brings various elements of the extensions through multiple story modes, each with their own chapters. So if you like the idea of building a clinic, then check out Clinic from Capstone Games. Gale Force 9 is releasing Wiseguys. This is an area control game where you're playing as like gangsters from the 1920s, you know, the Al Capones of the world type of people. You are battling it out to control the black market booze trade of 1920s Chicago. So there's a lot of like, yeah, see, you wanna drink booze out of bowling balls? Well, I've got the ticket. You know, I mean, hopefully you aren't required to talk like that during the game, but you know, maybe. Do you want to role play while you're playing Wiseguys? You know, if you're the only one doing it, your friends are going to get annoyed pretty quickly. I'll tell you that. But I do like that theme, you know, the Rum Runners theme. It's just I like history a lot, so that era of history is pretty interesting. You know, the temperance movement, when alcohol was banned, didn't last that long. So a lot of people breaking the rules, and you are wanting them in the game Wiseguys. So if you want to play as rival gangs in an area control game, check that out. Gamelin Games is releasing to retail Tiny Epic Dungeons. And this was like a huge Kickstarter, all that sort of stuff, but this is its retail release here in March. If you know anything about the Tiny Epic series, they are big games, epic games in small boxes. Hence, Tiny Epic. Makes sense. In Tiny Epic Dungeons, and I'll say, you know, to me, the Tiny Epic series is hit or miss. Some of them I love, some of them I could do without, and this one seems like one I'm gonna love. It is a cooperative dungeon crawl game, and it feels like a big epic dungeon crawl. You know, there's miniatures, there's a bunch of stuff in it, but it still comes in a very small box. It does have a modular board, so there will always be tiles that are coming out, so every time you play it, it feels different. It is a game for 1 to 4 people, and you know, it's a dungeon crawl game. It feels like a big dungeon crawl in a small box. So if you're looking for a dungeon crawl game that you can take with you, that you can travel with easily, this would be a really good option. All right, Genius Games is releasing Cellulose to retail. This, if you know anything about Genius Games, they are a educational publisher. They publish educational games, but they don't feel like educational games. The whole, you know, the point of the game is to be a good game and to have a fun game and to have interesting gameplay, all while educating you on a particular theme. You know, they're not like the educational games of the 1980s where you're like, God, this is so boring. No, these are legitimately fun games, but they also happen to educate you at the same time. Ooh, sneaky education. Those are the ones that work best. And so Cellulose is a worker placement game, but it's a worker placement game that takes place in a plant cell. So you are learning about plant cell biology while you're doing a bunch of worker placement type things. It plays 1 to 5 players and plays in 45 to 90 minutes. It is, you know, age 14 plus, so, you know, it's good for high school students or adults or something like that. I bet you don't remember much about plant cell biology from your freshman year of high school. Do you want to relearn it? Then play Cellulose. All right? Yeah. What do we have next? We have Keymaster Games is releasing Caper Europe. And one of the things I want to mention, most of the time when games are on this list and they're releasing to retail, it often means they're releasing to, you know, friendly local game stores, or they're releasing online, Amazon, publisher website, things like that. But I do like to call out when a game is going into a bigger box store. So Keymaster Games is releasing Caper Europe into Barnes & Noble, actually. This one will be in Barnes & Noble. It is a 2-player only game, and you are playing as criminal masterminds, and you're going all over Europe and trying to be the best criminal mastermind. It is a drafting game. You take turns sending thieves to famous locations across Europe, vying for control through special card powers. So if you're looking for a 2-player only game that has a decent amount of strategy but is still accessible, then Caper Europe feels like a good one, and you can find it in Barnes & Noble. Looney Labs is releasing a new version of Fluxx to retail this month. If you've never played Fluxx, it is a small card game that is wacky and wild and always changing, and that is the point of the game. There are a ton of versions of Fluxx. If you want a theme, you can probably find it. You know, there's Fluxx Chemistry, there's Fluxx Math, there's Fluxx Monty Python, there's Fluxx Star Trek, there's Fluxx Zombies. There's a bunch of different versions. But what all the versions have in common is that every card that you play down changes the rules of the game. So the win conditions are always different based on the cards that are in play at that moment. And it's wacky, and you never know if a game is going to take 10 minutes or if a game is going to take an hour, and it's always changing. So if you like chaos, then Fluxx is a good game. Fluxx Remix, what they say about it, is that it has a whole new slate of goals to work towards, new rules, actions, and surprises that keep things hopping. You can be sure zaniness will ensue, and I believe that. And since this is Fluxx Remix, it's got a ton of musical references throughout. So if you were looking for a music-themed Fluxx, this is a good one to check out. They do say it's a little more advanced and a little more chaotic than most versions. So maybe it's not the right version to jump into the Fluxx line, but if you've already played Fluxx, if you already like Fluxx, then check out Fluxx Remix. Pegasus Spiele is releasing Fire and Stone to retail. In this game, you are playing as different tribes. You are playing as a leader of a tribe, and you are trying to build and up your tribe and survive. And the game comes with a map, and you are exploring the map, and on the map there are a bunch of different tokens, and so you're going to a new area, flipping over the token, and then getting different benefits and resources and help. You're scouting, essentially. You're scouting new lands, harvesting nuts, mushrooms, and then eventually building villages. It does have a healthy amount of luck because you are simply exploring and flipping over tokens, and, you know, sometimes you're just going to get lucky and get the token that you need. I would think of this as a family game. You know, this is not, it's not a heavy strategy by any means. This is a game you can play with your family, and you know, it's got that random fun though, where you're like, I hope this token has what I need. Flip it over. So if you're looking for a sort of Stone Age theme that involves a bunch of luck, but is very accessible to all family members, then check out Fire and Stone from Pegasus Spiele. Renegade Game Studios is releasing Crimes and Capers, and the winner is dead? Oh, I made that very dramatic, didn't I? Crimes and Capers and the winner is dead. You know, they've released a few versions of this Crimes and Capers, and so the theme of this one is that you are at the 67th Annual Music Awards, but unfortunately you won't be winning anything tonight because the host of the awards, America's sweetheart pop star, Manny, is dead, and you gotta figure it out. So, Crimes and Capers is it's sort of a murder mystery mixed with an escape room style game. So you can dress up, you can play characters, you can do all that stuff. You can make it feel very murdery mystery, but you're also trying to solve puzzles and figure out a mystery, and you're trying to, you know, get at the heart of what happened, how did this person die, who killed them, that sort of stuff. So it's got the fun social aspect of the murder mystery, but also the very puzzle solving aspect of an escape room style game. So that is Crimes and Capers, and the winner is dead. Stonemaier Games is releasing Libertalia Winds of Galecrest. This is actually a revised version of a game that came out in 2012. And a lot has changed here. It is not the same game that came out in 2012. In it, there is all new art. Let's see. It includes all new art. It includes 40 characters per player. It includes a reputation system to resolve tiebreakers. It has premium loot tokens, a robust solo mode, and more changes. It is a pirate game, so if you like pirate games, this is a real solid one. And I've had a chance to see this played, and it looks gorgeous, and it looks very fun and thinky. So if you're looking for a new, pirate game in your repertoire, then Stonemaier always makes good games. Everything they put out, it's good quality, it's good gameplay. So I assume that this will be no different. They say on their website, if you like Mission Red Planet, Broom Service, or other hand management games, we think you will enjoy sneakily managing your crew in Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest. So check that out. Okay, well those are the new games we have coming to retail this month, but we do have a couple of reprints that I think are worth mentioning. 25th Century Games is releasing the second edition of Kohaku. They did a small print run of the first edition and it sold out pretty quickly and has been unavailable for a while. So now this is available. This is a beautiful tile laying game where you are trying to create the most beautiful koi pond. So you are playing fish down. It's a very peaceful game and it's very gorgeous. The art is really pretty. One of the differences, though, of the second edition, the first edition had these really chunky acrylic tiles. This version will not have the acrylic tiles. This one will be cardboard tiles, so it might not be as premium, but it is also cheaper. So if you've been looking to get Kohaku, well, there's a cheaper version now available. Oink Games is re-releasing a new edition of In a Grove. So Oink Games is known for their small box games. This is a game where you are, it's a game of bluffing and deduction. You are trying to figure out who murdered somebody. You are trying to spot the killer amongst 3 suspects. But if you make too many false accusations, you lose the game. So you're trying to figure out what's going on. There's some social deduction in it, all that sort of stuff. And one of the nice things, this new edition contains slight changes to the rules, and it allows components to play with 2 to 5 players. So instead of 4 players, there are now 5 players in it. So yeah, that is In a Grove from Oink Games. And lastly here, there is a new edition of Canvas coming out. Canvas was a huge hit game in 2021 at the beginning of the year, and it's another gorgeous game about playing down art cards and building a piece of art. And it was a real big hit and sold out pretty quickly and has been unavailable for the last year or so. Well, they're doing a second printing of it, and they're also doing an expansion. So it is called Canvas Reflections. This expansion adds a new layer to the artistic puzzle, reversible cards. So now there's some reversible cards in the game, and if you've been wanting to check out Canvas but you haven't had the chance, now it's coming out again. So make sure to check that out. And that's what I got for you this month. Those are the best games coming to retail in March. If you know about anything else that I missed, always feel free to leave them in the comments because, I love the community of board games and we help each other find good games. And if I missed something, maybe you could help somebody find that game. So thank you so much for watching. I will be back next month with another best games coming to retail video, and you can always find more videos from me. I do reviews and silly, dumb things on here all the time. So thank you so much. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.